Hey guys, it's Lori Landsberg. I'm going to show you how I apply LimeLight's Botanical Foundation. First, I'm going to start with First Base Makeup Primer. This is a vitamin-based makeup primer spray. Really great for your skin. And I'm going to use our Complexion Palette with a blender full. Now our Complexion Palette comes with a foundation and 2 concealers. It saves you money that way. And I really love the blender full because it has this great shape where one side is flat and covers a large surface, and then the other side is pointy, which gets into those smaller places. I use my blender full wet. I dampen it, and then I wring it out really good in a rag. It just really helps makeup go on a lot smoother. It's also less porous than most blenders. Now, about this time, I remembered that I forgot to add my moisturizer, and I really like to squirt some moisturizer right into the palette, and so that's what I'm going to do now. And it helps it go on a lot more smoother and makes the foundation even creamier. And I'm just using the bounce and blend method. I love the finish the blender full leaves when you press it into your skin. It just gives a beautiful, perfect finish. And you can see how the redness in my skin is gone, and it really only takes a very small amount of product to get this good coverage because of the amount of pigment the foundation has, which is about 50% minimum. A lot more than you're ever going to find in drugstores or even high-end makeup brands. I'm just taking a small fluffy brush and going into concealer 2, which is my skin tone, and I'm going to paint over the areas that need a little more coverage. Our concealer is waterproof as well as opaque, so it's good coverage, and then I'm just going to paint around my nose stud. Now I'm taking concealer 0, which is our lightest, and I'm just going to take my palette knife and scoop some out and use my concealer brush to brush it under my eyes. And I'm using my palette knife just because the less you put your brush into the product, the less it picks up the little pieces of lint that naturally falls on the brush. And I'm just going to put some on my forehead, down my nose, my cupid's bow, and on my chin. And then I'm going to take my blender full, the pointy end, and I'm just going to blend that in with that same bounce and blend technique. Just going to diffuse out those edges, and you can see how highlighting like this is just bringing more light to the center of my face and brightening my face. Still has that really beautiful youthful glow, but it's just illuminated more this way. And because the palette comes with 2 concealers, you can choose one for highlighting and one for contouring, or you can choose one for highlighting, one for your skin tone to cover blemishes. Now I'm taking concealer number 2 with my concealer brush, and I'm just going to outline above my eyes. This is how I can get close to my eyebrows without messing them up with the blender full. This is our buffer brush number 5, and I'm just going to blend that out. It's much smaller and a lot easier to use. This is our diffuser brush. This is another way you can apply foundation. Gives a nice airbrushed look. And this is our foundation brush. I use this only to apply moisturizer and sometimes Mask of Zen. I don't actually use this one for foundation. Now I'm going into our pressed powder and using my favorite brush in the line, which is number 1. And I'm just going to go on the areas that get a little oilier, my forehead, nose, and chin, and under my eyes. I'm going to take brush 19, but just because it's smaller, and go right under my eyes to set that foundation. So now I'm going to go into concealer number 5 and use my palette knife again and just get a little bit out on my fingers. I'm going to use this for contouring. You can use eyeshadows in an appropriate color. A taupe is really good. Or you could use bronzer. I'm just choosing to use this concealer number 5. I'm just going to paint it right in the hollows of my cheeks, around my hairline, and on my jawline. Contouring is great for basically reshaping your face and just giving that illusion of shading, which I like around my forehead because I have a really tall forehead. So when I put a little shading around that hairline, it basically just keeps your eye from going all the way up my forehead, and you see more of the light on the center of my face. And then I'm just going to bounce and blend this and blend it all in. This is going to give the appearance of higher cheekbones. And now I'm just going to take that concealer brush and paint down the sides of my nose. This is a great way to, create the illusion of a more narrow nose. And with that same brush, I'm just going to take it and I'm going to blend it down just as it would as if a shadow were hitting your face. I don't do a lot of contouring, but I just wanted to do a small amount just to give you an idea of what is possible by getting this Complexion palette. Now I'm taking concealer number 5 and putting a little bit under my bottom lip. When you shade below your bottom lip, it just gives the illusion that your bottom lip is so big it's casting a shadow. It's just a tiny little tip. I'm just checking out my work. So now we're going to go into our blush. And again, brush number 1, which is my favorite. I'm just going to go into Peachy and add a little bit of color to my cheeks. And then brush number 19, I'm going to use that in blush number 6, which is Glowing. This is a very subtle blush, a subtle highlighter. This is the one that Oprah Winfrey's makeup artist says every woman should have in their makeup bag. It's absolutely beautiful. And the final step is to seal it all in with our setting spray. This is going to last up to 16 hours and it really does create a bulletproof application. Thanks for watching, and if I can help you find your perfect foundation or concealer shade, please let me know and visit my website at lorilandsberg.com.